the second critical choice I made on my journey was to commit to a two-way agreement. And I gotta put context to this. So first off, the two-way agreement that I committed to was between me and my sister. She took me in. I was a crystal meth addict. I literally was seconds away from killing myself when she called me. So like this was severe. Like she took me into her home, but it was conditional. So I entered into a two-way agreement. What I learned or what I experienced is the force of a two-way agreement when you commit to it. And for me, committing, doing what I said I was going to do, and my sister doing what she said she was going to do, and holding each other accountable to that, transformed my feeling from like I have to do these things to I want to do these things. And you're in the beginning around enduring success, freedom, and wonder. Wonder hits me hard because I committed to a two-way agreement. What I got back is I found joy in the ordinary and wonder. I was able to realize and be aware of wonder. So, okay, so that's a little bit of background there. When I think about a two-way agreement, we all enter into agreements all the time, informally or formally. The question is, do you commit to it or not? Is there a two-way agreement that you would share with us that you committed to, and maybe what you gave and what you got?
Yeah. There's been a few, but again, the one that strikes me that I'll share has genuinely impacted my life. And I think maybe, let me think, how old am I now? 45. About 7 years ago, I met this woman at a networking event, and she slightly scared me. And not that many people scare me, but she slightly scared me, right? And this woman and I just connected. And then I remember going and meeting her in one of the kind of grand old buildings of London. And I remember walking in and she was pristine and everything looked perfect about her. And I was like, and it turns out that her job is that she's one of the top energy psychologists in the world, right? And she had that innate ability of being able to, as I felt it, see into my soul in a really beautiful, deep and profound way. And she and I, a few weeks came and passed, and she and I made a commitment to each other. And I've only ever done this with 3 people in my entire life. We did a swap, a professional swap. So I said, okay, I would be really curious to work with you and to work through me and my stuff with somebody who's at the top of the game of energy psychology. And she was very curious to come and work with me in terms of how she could become an awesome, amazing speaker and shift her business model. So we agreed to do this swap. And I'm always really skeptical about swaps because quite often one person feels not so, they're really hard to get right.
It's it's not a mutually beneficial agreement.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's tough to
how do you make sure that it stays beneficial for both sides and everything else like that? Well, fast forward to where we're at now. I honestly can say from my perspective, hand on heart, Laugh, Think, Play would not exist without her. I would not be in a place where I would have been. It's not about confidence, but I don't think I would have given myself the space to really know what my purpose is, because I had to do some deep, deep healing work in order to have the clarity to be able to go, oh yeah, I want to help 1 million people laugh, think and play, right? This stuff doesn't just happen overnight. You need a team, right? You need a support team. And I think also the other piece, I've recently got married, and I know that allowing my heart to let in that level of love has been a direct result because I've worked with her. And on the other side, for her, she has shifted and changed. She went and did a talk, and she came from a place. I think most really top people have had to do a lot of work in themselves in order to get to the place they are. And rather than coming across as the scientist, she now comes across as the human who has a science background. And she engages with audiences that she never thought was possible and tells her story. And more above that, and this is not my story to tell, but more above that, she is now at a place where her business now reflects her excellence. And so for both of us, plus we've also developed a really, really amazing friendship. So it's a two-way thing, and it's a professional thing, and we've boundaried, and then we're friends. And for that, I will always be so grateful.
That's awesome. That's an awesome example. Oh my God. Wait, tell me her name so we can we give her a shout out?
Yes, you can indeed. So her name is Dr. Shoshana Garfield, and she is an amazing human being.
All right. So I'll explore, I'll learn who she is, and I'll give her some shout outs.
Fabulous.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series. To check out more episodes, go to www.trishkendall.com/podcast, or go to any of your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, under Trish Kendall Speaks, and you'll find this interview and more. Choose and become.